So this is a recap for live stream 326, and today we've had a good day. We made some changes, and we've introduced a new approach. We've started to integrate Fibonacci's into our trading a little bit, and it has worked out in my favor. Had my best day in quite a few months. So let's talk about the trades, and we can see here the first trade I took was actually on gold. I came into the market broke out to the upside, had a bit of a gap as the market rallied through Asia and Europe. So had a bit of a gap, had the market continue upwards. Drew this trend line, did notice a break in trend. Certainly was on the backside, but decided to take the trade anyway. So took the trade anyway. The market came down, came pretty close to my stop, came back up, followed my rules and exited for a loss. After which prices sold through this area here, and the trade I actually took, which worked out, was a bit of a FOMO trade off the pin bar. So what I did was I saw this pin bar and I thought, well, how likely is it that this pin bar is where the market's going to reverse? So took a short there, had a stop all the way up here, and the target was eventually the target I was going for to cover the losses through the first trade was hit, and that was it for gold trades. We'll have a look at our ES over on ES. So took a trade through here following the strategy, and target was hit as prices continue to the upside. Now, after taking that trade, prices turned around, and here is where I drew the Fibonacci. So I drew a Fibonacci of this high, this low. Decided I'll just buy the 50% if the market came down to that 50%. So placed an order there, two orders. Was filled as the market came down. Thought it would be stopped out. Price came pretty close towards my stop in and around these lows. Prices then turned around, was consolidating a bit, so I took off half the position just to take a little bit of risk off the table. What I then did was I placed a pending order to get back in for the market to come down, possibly get me back in to target the area around 307.50s. Now prices just never came back down to that pending order, so half the position actually then went on to hit the overall target, which is this level here. So just never got triggered back in. Could, of course, have just simply have held the position in hindsight and as designed by the strategy, but didn't like the consolidation. I was a bit concerned. Losses in previous sessions have certainly affected me psychologically. There's no denying that. And that was it for our ES trades. Over on NQ, likewise, first trade, similar setup, went long. Pretty much how the strategy was designed to operate that I've been using the past couple of weeks. Target was hit, similar to ES, drew a Fibonacci, price came down to that 50%. Now, this is where there was a bit of discrepancy. Price came down to the 50%, hit the first pending order to go long, didn't fill the second pending order as we can see now, never came down to that level, so was in with just half of the position I was going for. Price came up through the consolidation that we had on ES. I decided I was going to take 50% off. Well, because the full order wasn't filled, when I tried to take 50% off, it actually closed the position. I wasn't in a position. And I was a little bit frustrated as the prices went to the upside. Placed a pending order at a better price than where I exited. Eventually was filled. Thought I would be triggered into the pending order, which was still sitting there from the original position. Price just never came down to that level. Price came up, got to the 0825, which is 3 ticks from the target of 09. Prices started to come back a bit, so I got out of the position. Eventually, because I was a bit concerned about this area acting as a resistance, even though the target was all the way up at 09. So decided I was going to get back in, follow the plan. So got back in, slightly better price, and eventually prices did go up to that 09. Of course, it would have been great if I would have been filled on the whole position there, and of course through here held the position, but overall So these trades are just essentially from this original trade, exiting early the whole position, re-entering, exiting after a pullback, 3 ticks from target, re-entering. So this is essentially just one trade. That was it for the NQ trades. We'll have a look at the account. So the account began today at 233,625, and through a series of winning trades, as we can see, a series of winners. I believe I only had one loser today. Just that one loser on gold there as I traded the backside. I went long, and of course I did exit when the signal did tell me to exit. Apart from that, we can see there closing that ES trade early. Again, that's not a fairly small gain there. Closing the whole NQ position when I thought completely forgot I wasn't in the full position, and so on. So these are the trades that made up the P&L today. So started at 233,625. We'll be ending the day up at 380,100. Finally, I'll bring over the trade performance. On the trade performance here, on the trade performance, we can see a total of 9 trades, 4 NQ, 3 ES, and 2 on gold. We can see overall P&L 46,475, the majority of which 95 came from NQ, followed by ES at 49,375, and finally bringing up the rear, we've got our friends over at gold. 8 trades, just a one loser, which was a gold trade. We can see we've got 100% accuracy on NQ, 100% accuracy on ES, and 50% accuracy on gold. So one winner, one loser, 3 wins, 4 wins over there. We can see the average win overall being 26.71, average loss being 15, which is our only that gold trade. Average win being slightly bigger than on NQ, of course, smaller one on ES, and a bigger one over there on gold. Didn't take any trades on any of the stocks today. So overall 89% accuracy. Don't think that will be the norm. I just think it was a particular day where my strategy worked out, and introducing Fibonacci's today, and they did work in my favor. Now the trade yesterday I did try to do with the Fibonacci. That didn't work out. That resulted in a loss. But today it just so happens that it did work out. So I'm just going to wrap up the video there. Thanks for watching. Good luck trading. Have a great day.